and the excitement that's kind of hovering around this team right now, it's palpable, you know? And the crazy part is, it's not just from us fans. It's starting to illuminate others in the media that have no stake or vested interest in this team's success. They just can feel the energy reverberating, and it's hitting them in Bristol and in L.A. and all over the map. And you've got a lot of people talking about Washington this year going into the season. And I already told you on the podcast that I was shocked because I still don't view us as a team that has a chance to do anything meaningful this year. I think that's something that has been drawn up and concocted by the media types and the powers that be. That all of a sudden, because we got Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who hasn't won a damn thing in this league and a guy who hasn't played in a single playoff game in his 16-year career, all of a sudden in year 17 is just going to turn this shit up to level 10, maybe 11, and have this team playing at a ridiculously high level and gives us a chance to do something that I can't fathom right now. Some of you are talking crazy, so it's nothing for you. It's not a reach that we go 12-5, win the division, and got a shot this year. For some of you, you've been talking that shit all offseason. I've never uttered those words. I can't even wrap my brain around double-digit wins this season. Sorry, not sorry. So I'm still trying to come around because I told you I never wanted Ryan Fitzpatrick. I will admit, he's a fun guy. But I told you, I already had an affinity for Ryan Fitzpatrick. You knew that already. We joke and we kid. I talk about fitty-fitty, and I talk about how he keeps both teams in the game, and I talk about all of these different things with Ryan Fitzpatrick. But if you've watched the podcast, if you've listened over the years, then you know that I've always had a soft spot for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I said, he's the Russell Westbrook of the NFL. You won't find a guy that plays harder. You won't find a guy that enjoys it anymore than Russell Westbrook in the NBA, and in the NFL, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick for me. He's Russell Westbrook. The energy is infectious. You can't help but say that guy wants it more than anybody else on the field, and you know it when you see it. And I've always admired that about Ryan Fitzpatrick. That said, it doesn't always translate to wins. Same thing can be said for Russell Westbrook. His infectious energy, his crazy and frenetic play style and pace is fun to watch. It's exhausting at times, even. But it doesn't always yield victories. And sometimes he's so crazy, he's so out of control, or as I like to say, OC, out of control, that he keeps both teams in the game. Whether he's 1 of 11 from 3, or he's 5 of 16, or that's a little extreme, 5 of 12 from the free throw line. You know, he can be out of control. He can play both teams with 9 turnovers. He can keep both teams in the game. But when he's on, he's electrifying. Same thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick. And so I get where people are coming from, especially when you throw into the mix that, hey, this defense was coming on strong like gangbusters a year ago towards the end of the season. They're getting better. They upgraded cornerback position. You could argue they're getting Landon Collins back. He should strengthen up the secondary as well, along with William Jackson III. You added another piece to the linebacker position. I still don't know what the hell the linebacker position is going to be. We still don't know how Jamin Davis is going to fit into this equation. You're still putting a guy that I didn't want anywhere near. I told you I didn't have a problem with him being on the roster. But I didn't want him anywhere near my starting lineup, and it looks like John Boom Bostic is still going to be starting at middle linebacker for this football team. So I still don't know how great the linebacking core all of a sudden is going to be. Yep, love Cole Holcomb. I think I'm going to love Jamin Davis. Still got you still got John Bostic in the middle of this defense, and I do not love that. Okay, so there are a lot of moving parts defensively. You'd like to think Matt Ioannidis being added back to the mix, much like Landon Collins, is going to do wonders for the defense. You'd like to think Chase Young in year 2 is going to be much better than Chase Young year 1. Montez Sweat year 3 is going to be much better than Montez Sweat year 2. And Montez Sweat year 2 was an ass kicker. So you get excited about these things, okay? You feel like Deron Payne is on the cusp. He's bubbling. You think he may blow this year. Jonathan Allen may be on the verge of getting this new deal and coming out and playing like a madman. These are all things I'm excited about on the defensive side of the football. Doesn't mean they're going to take this quantum leap. The quantum leap was last year from one of the worst defenses, or, one of the worst. Let's not sugarcoat things. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's keep it $150. Let's keep it funky tonight. We were a terrible defense before Chase Young showed up. People want to talk about the impact or lack thereof of Chase Young. How dare they? Okay? Because much like when Nick Bosa showed up for the 49ers, Chase Young showed up and shit changed. It just did. Okay? We didn't change a whole hell of a lot of parts on the defensive side of the football, in case you guys weren't keeping notes out there. Not a lot really changed defensively. Yep, they brought in Kevin Pierre-Louis. He didn't even finish the season playing snaps, and he's not back. So I don't know how impactful he was throughout the course of the season. I think some people might have overrated his impact on his football team. He was okay, but he wasn't great. That's part of the reason he's not still here. John Bostic was not great last year, and he was here the year before that anyway. Okay? So Cole Holcomb was here. The whole defensive line was back, but they added Chase Young. The secondary, a little different. A couple tweaks there. Obviously, Kendall Fuller was brand new. So was Ronald Darby. So the secondary did get a facelift. It got a makeover, and it was massive. But I said all of that to say this. The quantum leap came last year. Now, maybe there is another quantum leap. Maybe there is this jump from, top 7 defense, because we keeping it funky tonight. We're not going to try to beat around the bush. I'm not here to beat the drum of the team, okay? I'm not that guy. I never have been that guy. Never will be that guy. I'm going to keep it a real with y'all. I'm going to keep it $150 with y'all. Buck and some change. Our run defense wasn't great last year, and you know that. So be honest with yourself. Let's not sugarcoat things. We had issues at times stopping the run last year. I put a lot of the onus on the linebackers, but it wasn't just them. Sometimes it was the defensive line getting their ass kicked too. A lot of it felt like linebacker related, though. Honestly speaking, if we're gonna keep it $1 and some change with one another, it felt a lot of it felt linebacker driven while we were getting gashed in the run game. Still, that's nor here nor there. Bottom line is, that's still something I need to see fixed before I get excited about this defense and start talking crazy and throwing out random numbers. The only thing I told you last year that I was bullish on was the sack total. And I said, we're going to lead the league in sacks, and we're going to have every bit of 60 sacks last year. That was my declaration before the season started. And I told you that came to a screeching halt in week number 3 when Matt Ioannidis left the game in the first quarter with what turned out to be a torn tricep, I believe. If not bicep, whatever it was, his season was done. That's when my sack record and leading the league in sacks went out the window that day. And I told you guys as much. And we were leading the league, or we were among the league leaders when he left the roster, or when he left the active roster before he went on IR. We were right there after the 8-sack game against the Eagles, and I think we sacked Kyler Murray's ass 2 or 3 times. We were right there amongst the league leaders. And he got injured, and shit changed fast and in a hurry. Doesn't help when you play Lamar Jackson and company the next week or two either. But that's nor here nor there. Bottom line is, I wasn't bullish on the run defense last year. And for good reason. And it turned out to be what I thought was our Achilles heel last season. There were games where we were just grotesque against the run. The Rams game comes to mind. I thought the first time it really reared its ugly head was the game against the Cleveland Browns in week 3 was when it really reared its ugly head for the first time. But, Chase got banged up. So I tried to disregard it. Oh, we lost Ioannidis. Chase got banged up early in that game. We were out there, pitching with one hand tied behind our back. It was tough. So I made excuses. But there was no excuse when the Rams gutted us in the rain. There was no excuse when the Ravens were able to run it successfully against us. There was no excuse when Alfred Morris and and Wayne Gallman was averaging 5 a pop against us with Daniel Jones at quarterback and Austin Mack at receiver. There was no Saquon Barkley, and we were getting gashed for 5 a pop. Are you kidding me? How about the Detroit Lions game? That was an embarrassment. That felt like one of the worst defensive performances of the season. Truly, it did for me. That and the Rams game. So, and then we know the Buccaneers game was a problem. There was a possession in the Panthers game where they went about 9-10 plays right down the field, all 9 of the plays runs, culminating in a touchdown run. No Christian McCaffrey, by the way. That's the kind of shit that makes you regurgitate in your mouth. We sat there and watched the Buccaneers gut us in the playoffs. Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, doing what playoff Lenny does against us. It was disheartening at times, this rush defense. That shit has to be fixed. Am I sure that it's going to be fixed? No, I'm not. So I can't make the declaration that some of you guys are making. What I can tell you, though, is that we've upgraded some pieces defensively, and the upgrade really came on the offensive side of the football. We're light years different offensively than we were a season ago. Again, how much better? How tangible is that upgrade? Where is the increase going to actually manifest itself? We're hoping it shows up in the PPG category, okay? Points per game, because we were terrible last year scoring the football. So we're hoping that's where it shows up. And I'm hoping the defense continues to play the way that they did last year, upgrades in a couple of areas, mainly the run game. And then the offense is able to meet them and maybe even surpass them. And all of a sudden, now you got a formula that gives you a shot. But I'm not willing to go out on a limb, but there are a lot of people out there that seem to think that this team is ready to make some noise. Now, I've read a ton of articles this offseason. I've read more articles this offseason, and I'm human. Okay, shoot me. All right. I want to read the positive stuff. I don't want to keep feeding negativity into my brain. So in the past, when negativity was at an all-time high about this organization, you changed the name and you've got sexual assault accusations flying from all different types of directions. And yeah, it was a mess last offseason. And it was a mess anytime Bruce Allen was in the building, it was a mess. So every year before last year was a mess. We were free. We've been free from that this year. You know, the only nonsense really going on is Daniel Snyder and his legal issues and his legalities going on in court, where he's continuing to try to sue anybody that he feels like has been defamating his character, okay, defaming his character, defacing him as an individual. And I'm like, I don't really know if anybody can really defame your character, bro, but whatever. At the end of the day, it feels good to have people saying positive things about you. What I'd want you guys to do, and I always try to be this voice of reason for some of you. I told you, I'm no dream killer. So I never really try to step on anybody's toes, although I do try to provide a bit of realism. I do try to come with just a little small cup. It's not a pitcher, but it's ice cold, okay? I do try to come with a little bit of ice cold water for your face, okay? Just to splash it up there, because some of y'all be in la la land sometimes. And I told you guys, it's a lot of good information. It's a lot of positive stuff coming out about this outfit right now, about this organization. All I ask is that you just don't put your cup out and fill it up and start guzzling all of this stuff. All I've ever asked you to do was sip slow. That's it. I'm not telling you not to drink. I'm just asking you to sip slow. That's it. Sip slow. Not telling you not to drink, because I'm even taking occasional sips, and it's good. It tastes delicious. I don't blame you for wanting to guzzle it. Double fisting it even. But you have to resist the urge and temptation. Just take some sips. Casually sip every now and again. There's a lot of it out there. You know, you listen to enough ESPN. I don't. You know I don't watch that stuff. A lot of times you guys send it to me. I have no idea what they're talking about until you send it to me. I don't watch Undisputed. I don't watch Fox. I get a lot of those updates via Bleacher Report or one of these apps, and it hits my phone, and then I check out the little clip. I don't watch these shows. I got too much shit going on. And I try not to pollute my brain with the nonsense that they're feeding me. So I don't get caught up in a lot of what's being said. But it's hard to run away from Dan Orlovsky saying, hey, F the Cowboys. The Giants and Washington are the teams to beat. And if Washington gets anything out of Ryan Fitzpatrick, they're the best team in the NFC East. It's hard to run away from that. When Mike Greenberg is also pushing that narrative. Hey, everybody wants to talk about Dallas. To hell with the Cowboys. What about Washington? They really upgraded their roster. It's great to hear that Washington had an incredible draft. They might have gotten 5 or 6 starters out of this draft from Matt Miller of ESPN. It's hard to run away from all of that. It's a lot. The excitement is bubbling because you're getting it from everywhere. It's not just me. It's not just all of these other Washington fans. It's not just other people in these Facebook groups that are building up this team. It's coming from the outside now too. That could be scary for some of you. You got to start being able to receive that positivity and not look at it as a negative. Like, oh my God, they're blowing us up. We want to be under the radar. If you want to be a consistent winner, you can't be afraid of success. You can't be afraid of the expectations that come with success. We won the division last year. The champs ahead. The champs ahead. If the champs are really here, you can't be afraid when people start putting those expectations on your back. You can't run from that and say, well, we want to be the underdogs. We want to fly under the radar because that's when we perform best. That's not how the Green Bay Packers do it. That's not how the perennial playoff participants, I call them the triple Ps. We haven't been one of those in decades. That's what we want to be. That's what we're striving and aiming to be. Triple Ps. So if you want triple P status, you can't run from the expectations that come from winning the division, even if it was at 7-9. You got to be excited about people feeling like we got a chance to do some damage this year. I'm excited about it. I don't think we're going to do the damage, but I'm excited about it. In past years, when Bruce Allen was here, when Jay Gruden was the head coach, oh no, they're talking about us again. We're going to go straight to 5-11 or 6-10. We're going to have a nosedive this season. I don't feel that vibe anymore. This roster, I feel like, can withstand all of the extra added weight that's being put on their shoulders now. But we still don't have that one piece. That's the quarterback position. You can't win shit of substance in this league without it. You know it, I know it, and everybody else knows it. However, this feels different. And you can't be talking about, well, they're talking about us. I feel a little antsy. I don't know about this. Everybody's talking about us. This isn't good. It's never a good omen. It's never a good sign for us. You got to be willing to go punch somebody in their damn mouth when they know you coming, they see you coming, and they expect you to throw the first punch. You still got to be able to land it and beat the shit out of them. You can't be a bully when it's okay to be a bully, or you can't be a bully when they don't know you're coming, and you want to Miami style somebody in the back of the damn head when they don't see you coming in the club. Nah. They got to know you coming. We know Green Bay is coming. And they still go 12-4, 13-3 every damn year with Aaron Rodgers. We know Seattle is coming with Russell Wilson. We see them coming through the front door. We know what they about to do. They still beat you in the face with the run game, and then Russell Wilson comes over with that haymaker and bops you over the head, and you're down for the count. We see the shit every single year. We know the Chiefs. We know what they're about. I get it. All of these teams have elite quarterbacks. I'm not dumb. I understand that. I'm just telling you. You want the expectations of winning the division. You want people to talk about you. You can't want to be under the radar and want to be good every year. Those two things don't go together. They don't go together. You can't have it one way or the other. So embrace the excitement, but all I'm telling you to do is sip slow. Embrace it. Sip slow. Don't run from it. Don't shy away from it. Sip slow. Everything in life is better. Listen to me now. This is a gem I'm dropping on your melon. And you've heard this before. This isn't brand new, but I'm reinforcing it for you tonight. Everything in life is better in moderation. Even money, spending it, saving it, all of it is done better in moderation.